Hello, fellow diggers. All right, that took about 10 minutes. We're back. The ground beef is all brown. Now I'm just going to take the ragu. I tell you, I'm a shortcut cook. My mother would spend half a day in the kitchen making the sauce. I said, there's got to be a faster way to do this. Well, there is. Use store-bought products. I like ragu. I use it for spaghetti. I use it for lasagna. I use it for a lot of stuff. So I buy one of the big bottles, and then I buy one of the medium-sized bottles just to make sure I got enough sauce. And that fills that pan up pretty good. And then my baby portobellos. Where'd I put you? Oh, there's where I put you. See, I chop these up nice and fine. Not super fine, but fine enough. By the time they get cooked down and added in with everything, adults might spot them, but little kids probably aren't. Alright, so I think I'll wash that up while everything's in the oven. Now I take my oven ready for lasagna noodles. And you just take your noodles, you lay them in the bottom of the pan. You don't have to cook these at all. That's what I love about them. The sauce actually cooks these while it's in the oven. So now, get these mushrooms and ground beef and sauce all mixed up together. Now I've got the heat turned down a little bit now, but it doesn't necessarily have to really cook because it's going to cook in the oven. We just get that mixed up pretty good. And our sauce and our ground beef, and there's plenty beefy because now you all saw how much beef I put in there. I put in a big package. And you just take your sauce and you spoon it in. And I just hit that handle of the pot with a nice little splash of sauce. And you just spoon this in pretty good. Smooth it out in there. Then you take your cottage cheese. And I've had people say, ugh, I can't eat none then. I hate cottage cheese. I'm like, dude, you're not going to taste it. Oh yeah, I'll taste it. Alright, tell you what. You take a little bite after it's done. If you don't like it, you don't have to eat it. I've never had anybody say, oh, that's awful. In about 40 something years of cooking this, in fact, I've never had anybody do anything but gobble it up. Alright. Now I take a little bit of mozzarella. Nice handful of mozzarella. And sprinkle it in on top of that. Get a nice handful of the cheddar. Sprinkle that in. Now we do the same thing we did on the first layer. We put in our noodles. And we add some more sauce. At this stage, I like to make sure I get the ends covered real good. Alright. Now we'll do the cottage cheese again. Try and do a slightly different pattern than we did the first time, so there's cottage cheese in pretty much every bite. Another handful of mozzarella. And yeah, there's a lot of cheese in this. So if you got anybody that's lactose intolerant, this probably isn't the dish for them. But for everybody else, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, now another layer of the noodles. And it's amazing. It blew my mind the first time I cooked this. I was like, damn, how do the noodles cook? They're oven ready. And I read the box and it said that the sauce actually cooks the noodles while it's in the oven. I was like, oh, cool. Well, that cuts down on one step. I can already tell that there's not going to be room in this pan, as big a pan as it is, for another layer. I think it's already got 3 layers for a 4th layer. So now, we don't need any more cottage cheese. All we need to do to top this off is we'll take a little bit more mozzarella and put on it. Be just a little bit more generous with the mozzarella on top because we want that to look pretty when it comes out of the oven. And put the cheddar cheese on. Now the oven's already preheated. There's one pan. That one's done. Now we grab another pan. I don't know if anybody's bothering to time me, but I know I'm doing real good on time. Oh, now. We'll start this again. Yeah, I had a fella, he told me, he said, I can't eat cottage cheese. It does something to me. Just the minute I taste it, I've got to run to the bathroom. I said, fella, I'm telling you, you will not taste it. Oh yeah, I'll taste it. I hate cottage cheese. I said, all right. We'll give it a shot. About every week, he was like, when you gonna make some more of that good lasagna? I thought you didn't like cottage cheese. Well, you were right, kinda. He said, I could taste it a little bit. He didn't want to admit he couldn't. He said, I could taste it a little bit, but it wasn't so bad that I couldn't stand it. Okay. And this is a large curd, but you can use any kind you want. If you want to use large curd, use large, and small if you want to use small. I just happen to prefer the large curd. My niece thinks she makes better lasagna because she uses ricotta in hers. All ricotta is aged cottage cheese. That's all. It's just aged a little bit longer. It's got a stronger flavor.